But Iqra, you come from a party जहाँ पे you have the famous saying, नेताजी का मुलायम सिंह यादव said, boys will be boys एक समय. Now, and पहले they opposed the women reservation bill. Now you have Akhilesh Yadav supporting the women reservation bill. So you think there is a change in the mindset also in terms of, it's a positive change, which you've been seeing firsthand?
I would first like to apologize for being late. And thank you for having me. There is a change, and I think it's for the benefit of women. And I'd like to also address why Netaji first opposed the bill. It was because he wanted reservation, not just, he wanted reservation for OBCs, women OBCs within the women's reservation. So I think that was the point why he was opposing it. And I think that's also necessary. We need to have women from all stratas of the society to be able to come forward and take the lead. And like my colleague just mentioned, it's not just about I think reservation is the first step, but what will we achieve by reservation? We will only enable a certain number of women to come forward, but are we as a country, as a society, ready for women leadership is the question. Or will we just tick mark 33% of women who will come forward? And like we've seen before, how at the very lower level, at the panchayat level, you have pradhans and you have pradhanpatis as well for the seats that are reserved. So it's not just for the sake of it that we demand women's reservation. I think the country needs to be ready for women to take lead, for women to be able to be leaders and lead the way for other women. And I think these dialogues, I would like to thank you for initiating these dialogues. And I think these are very important. This is a very important topic that needs to be discussed. And I've had the fortune to, right before the session, to visit Norway with the UN Women. And I would like to share some insight from there. They have a parliament which has 45% women representation. And they did so not with affirmative actions, but by enabling changes in the society. So it was very interesting to see how they've brought about that change. And I think something in that regard we also need to do as a society. For example, childcare there is not just a responsibility of the women, but the state has taken it upon itself to have creches, to have kindergartens where women can leave children. So they have paternal leave, maternal leave, and all of those things. And I think these things are very important if we need to take women forward. We need to first remove these foundations that women have on themselves. Only then can we expect for women to take lead in all spheres and fields. And I think the reservation bill is the first step in that regard, and we need to do much more.
Actually, it's because we have feisty women like all of you in the panel that people are actually, taking notice, and this topic has more credibility. Swati, I know you have to leave, so I'll ask you one more quick question. In terms of, implementation, but Iqra, I'd like to bring you in. Let's not talk BJP Congress. Let's talk about women from big towns to women in smaller towns, and, from Uttar Pradesh also. How have you seen in the past few years, how easy or difficult is it? And from a party like the Samajwadi Party, which is the patriarchal party, at the end of the day, I know. But how has your journey been? Tell us your story.
I come from a lot of privilege. First, I'd like to specify that. But even then, I think, as ma'am was saying, we need to first break the notions that we have in the society. And that will take a long time. So there is space, but we need to effectively occupy that space, not just, as ma'am said, not just in numerical sense, but in a very effective manner. For me, because my family was in politics, I got a headway, I got a start, but I would still say it's still a man's world, and everything needs to be, as a woman, you need to be aware of everything. You need to keep looking over your shoulder all the time. And these are societal things. These cannot be changed only through political intervention. I think as a society also, we need to, all of us, not just the politicians, but I think the media has a role to play, and NGOs and other social activists, I think, are doing a lot more than we are doing. So as a society, we need to see women there. We need to see them take the lead. And only then can we expect for things to change in a better way. And I would also like to mention that if Congress hadn't put Miss Gandhi where she was, I think that would be embarrassing because Congress was the oldest party, so it's only just to expect it from the Congress. So I have deep admiration for her.
So another question to you, taking off from what you said about societal changes, can there be a cross-party consensus on, say, issues like rape, let's not have politics, and the women should get together and say, you know, whether it is a Nirbhaya or what happened in West Bengal, domestic violence, some issues where women's rights are concerned, you should, you know, can you all at least get together and tell your leadership that on these issues, let's all of us, whether it's BJP, Congress, SP, everybody get together?
No, I think there is a consensus on these issues. I can only speak for myself and the time that I have had in the politics. I think people tend to get together on these issues, and that's a great start. But there are also technical limitations. For example, if I'm a woman and I want to speak on something in the parliament, there is a lot of balloting limitations, time limitations for the parties, and all of those things. So that kind of somewhere limit you, and you need to give in to the top leadership. And top leadership, as we all know, is mostly occupied by men. So
we have to fix that.
We have to fix that.
Okay. Okay. Iqra, last word to you. You know, taking into account what Swati has said, is it a plus or a minus being a woman politician?
I think there are lots of plus, but like what she said just now, comments about how you look, they kind of diminish your credibility, I feel, because we're not here to be appreciated for the way that we are presenting ourselves outwardly. But comments like those kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth. And I think we've all been through those comments. And I cover my head. So a lot of attribute is given to, because I cover my head, so I get a lot of credit for it. And I don't think that's why I do it. But to attribute things to your appearance, I think is unnecessary. And like ma'am said, male politicians or males in general unknowingly do it because it is so deeply entrenched in the society. So they're unknowingly doing these things, which kind of restrict us in a way.
I don't know what is worse, that they're doing it unknowingly thinking or they're doing it, you know, knowingly.
There is no stop to it also. Like she was wearing Western formals. There was a comment on that. I cover my head. There's a comment on that. So you can never, you don't know how to play this game because for everything you do, there will be a comment. So we need to stop that. We need to stop giving them that leeway that they can comment on how we appear because we don't do that with male politicians or anybody in any other field.
Very good point. And we're totally out of time. I'm sorry because we're being asked by the men to wrap up. On that note, thank you.
Thank you so much once again, Swati Maliwal, Iqra Hasan, Subrashra, and JB Mathur for joining us at the third Law and Constitution Dialogue. We're going to take a moment. I'm going to invite Dr. Aishwarya Pandit Sharma onto the stage to present a small token, rather actually not small today, but a token of our appreciation, a rather heavy token of our appreciation to all of our women panelists who've joined us to take this very pertinent conversation forward. That is Subrashra, author and political strategist. Thank you so much for giving us your precious time. You're also being presented with a photograph of the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly, viewers, which was attended by 205 members. And interestingly, this included 9 women on the 9th of December, 1946. Let's have a huge round of applause for our women parliamentarians as well.